Yeah, I'm excited. I have no clue. I think they're trying to text my sister right now. Did the YouTube link work or no, Sakim? So she can go to your YouTube? Okay, they're gonna try to stream it on yeah. Oh, let me put it on Facebook too. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Beautiful. Yeah, I'm ready.
Recording in progress.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you guys for joining Sakim and I today. This is something new. The good brother Sakim, I want to thank you, brother, for inviting me. So just so you guys know how this collaboration sort of happened, Sakim reached out to me actually from last year, right? And Sakim is like, "Yo, I want you to, you know, speak to the people, and okay, we'll work it out, we'll figure it out." And I just kind of been, just so locked in on my fitness journey and health and everything. And finally, Sakim was like, "Bro, we got to do something. Whatever you want to do, whatever you want to talk about, we got to do something." So I'm like, okay, um, let me pray on it and figure it out. And we came up with the long game with Los. So I just want to thank Sakim, and two, I want to thank Sakim for being supportive and innovative, right? So everybody that's in Discord and that's a member of Sakim's group, like we're very fortunate to have him as a leader because Sakim is always thinking about ways to bring value to the group. And this is just another way that he can bring value to you guys, right? Like a lot of group owners and people who have discords and groups, they don't change anything. They just have the same old monotonous stuff over and over. But Sakim is always thinking, how can I provide value to the group? How can I help these guys be better? So this is just another tool that Sakim is bringing you guys to help you be better. The feedback. Mindful, get your phones out, take screenshots because I'm going to try to give you guys everything that I have today, everything that I've used in my 44 years on this planet to make me successful. I'm going to share that with you guys in a very quick nutshell. And I promise not to go too long. We're going to try to have this wrapped up no later than 12 o'clock. All right. So welcome everyone to the long game with Los. And in the long game, this is a series that we're going to do once a month on the first Saturday of every month. So mark your calendars, guys. Take a second to share this with your friends, with your family member, anybody that you want to see level up in life. Share this with them, right? Because I promise you're going to walk away, 1% better at the minimum. You're going to walk away 1% better by the time this meeting is over. So the long game with Los, we're going to focus on health. We're going to focus on mindset. we're going to focus on business, and of course, we're going to focus on trading. So I just want to share a little bit about my story and my values with you guys. And again, things that have made me successful, not only in business, not only in trading, but things that have made me successful in my health and with my family as well, right? So, all right, here we go. So just real quick, my background. So as far as business is concerned, I started in IT 14 years ago, right? So I was doing IT for a company in Boca Raton. And if you guys are familiar at all with Florida or not familiar, Boca Raton is sort of like the Manhattan of South Florida, right? So Boca Raton is a very prestigious part of town, lots and lots of wealthy people, right? So the office that I worked in was in Boca Raton. And I'm super thankful for that experience because working in Boca Raton exposed me to another side of life, right? So, you know, my come up is very, very humble, right? I have two very loving parents. Both were born in Panama, came to the United States with a dollar and a dream, right? So, you know, like I said, I grew up very humble, and Boca Raton kind of showed me the other side, right? How the wealthy people lived and how the wealthy people conducted themselves and you know, different things like that. So that exposure had a really big effect on my life because I knew, this is possible, right? And getting to know a lot of the patients. So I did IT for a doctor's office, a dental office, and meeting so many of these wealthy people and becoming friends with them. One thing I realized, man, these people, they're not very different from me and you. Actually, a lot of them not very smart, to be honest. I'm going to keep it 100 with you guys, right? So I'm like, man, I think I'm smarter than a lot of these people, but a lot of them have generational wealth and are put in positions to succeed, right? Positions that you or I may not have. So getting to know that, one, I learned these people aren't different from you or I. They aren't better than you or I, right? A lot of them are just put in a position where success is automatic. And that is what we as traders, as business people, as career people, we have to put our families in the same position, right? So they don't have to go through the same struggles that you or I have gone through coming up, right? So there was a lady that I work with, an older white woman. Her name is Dorothy. Dorothy, I won't say her last name, but you know, like I said, you know, I come from the bottom, right? I come from the mud, right? So once a month at the job, we would have these study club meetings in a very fancy restaurant, right? And all I would order was chicken. And Dorothy would turn to me and she would go, Carlos, life is not all about chicken, right? Life is not all about chicken. And for me, that was insightful because it helped me to think outside of the box, right? Life is not all about chicken, right? There's crepes, there's lobster, there's different things, right? So I want to encourage you guys, think outside the box. Think about Dorothy. Life is not all about chicken, right? There's life outside of the experience that we come up in. So I worked at the office for 14 years, and towards the tail end, my mentor, Joe, walked in, first African-American with the corrugated box company. He did all of the box stuff. Like, so if you drank canned Pepsi in the 80s, Joe, his company did the boxes, right? So very wealthy guy. So Joe looked at me and he's like, what are you doing here? And I said, I'm working, Joe. And he goes, bro, you're smarter than everybody here. You need to be your own boss because there's only so much that you can do here, right? Like true freedom is being your own boss, and the sky will be the limit, right? And I didn't believe in myself, but Joe planted that seed in me, and he made me believe that anything is possible, right? And that's the seed that I want to plant with you guys today. Is real talk. Anything is possible. Anything you put your mind to, you can achieve it. But you got to be disciplined, and you got to be obsessed. You got to be obsessed with succeeding in anything that you do. Because if you're just treating trading like a passive throwaway thing, or you're treating your business like a passive throwaway thing, you're not going to succeed. You have to become obsessed. You have to eat and you have to breathe that thing. When I first started trading, I ate trading, I breathed it, I drank it. That's all I think about. When I started my investment, my real estate company, that's all I consumed was real estate, how to become successful, right? So Joe convinced me, bro, you need to leave. You need to start your own business. So weeks before that, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the movie Wolf of Wall Street, but the real life guy, after he got out of prison and this movie blew up, he started doing tours. So he did a tour on sales. So I went and I saw him because I wanted to grow. I had an IT company. I wanted to grow my IT company. So I went and listened to him. And at the end of his talk, he started talking about real estate and wholesaling. And of course, he had a course to sell at the end of his talk, and I couldn't afford the course. But I went home and I consumed everything real estate wholesaling, right? Hit up YouTube and did all that stuff. And it took me 11 months to do my first deal. That's just my personality. When I latch onto something, I don't let it go, right? It took me 11 months to do my first deal. And during that 11 months, it was a very tough time because I had ended up, getting sick, had a tumor on my kidney, and we ended up in the process losing our very first home that we bought, right? But I refused to give up, right? I refused to give up. I refused to quit. So going through getting sick, right? And my wife literally had to take care of me because I couldn't move. Like after that surgery, it was so tough I could barely move. My dad would drive down to Miami to visit me at the hospital. Like it was a really, really tough time, but I refused to quit, guys. The only thing that's going to take me out is death. Nothing else is going to stop me, right? So I did my first deal, made $5,000 on my first real estate wholesale deal. And that was 14 years ago. And I never looked back because once I got that first check in my hand, that $5,000, I knew that this is real. And the same goes for a lot of you guys. All it's going to take, if you're a trader, is that first payout. Get that first payout. Get that first withdrawal. And once you get that, you'll see that this is real, right? So fast forward now to 2020, COVID hits. And man, let me tell you, I thought I was going out of business. Things got bad. The house that I was living in, my landlord had to sell. My business took a hit because of COVID. I thought I was done. Had to move my family back in with my parents, and I had to start over. So during that time, my cousin Alex was like, bro, I'm doing this thing called Forex. You need to check it out. So I checked it out. He said, you need to check out baby pips. So I checked it out and I saw these red lines and these green lines. And I'm like, what is this? So I did a little dibbling and dabbling in baby pips. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting, but I need to focus on getting my real estate business back up and running. So I got my real estate business back up during COVID, refused to quit. Bounced back, got my real estate business back popping. And 2 years later, my buddy Andy was like, hey, I'm doing Forex. And I'm like, okay, let me circle back with my cousin. So I told my cousin, bro, I'm ready to get into Forex. Things are calm with real estate. So he's like, bro, you need to join my guy Sakim's group. And at the time, Sakim was working with somebody else. So that is when I first met Sakim. And it was just something about Sakim, just cool. Y'all know how Sakim is, right? Cool and calm. And, he broke down Forex fundamentals and technicals. And, I begin to grow. And after 3 years of failing prop after prop after prop, 3 years, I finally got my first payout. And actually, it took me 2.5 years. It took me 2.5 years to get my first payout from a prop firm. And just like real estate, I never looked back. But in the midst of my entire background, I want you guys to acknowledge that there was extreme hardship, right? There was loss after loss. Like I said, lost my house, almost lost my business, almost lost my health, but I refused to quit, guys. And that one thing I can guarantee you in life is you're going to have hardship. It's a part of the game, right? And a lot of us, we pray and we ask God for greatness, but with that greatness comes extreme hardship. That's just a part of the game. And sometimes we get down on ourselves and we want to cry, and that's okay. It's okay. You want to cry and you feel like giving up. You can feel like you want to give up all you want to, but giving up is not in the cards, not for any of you guys, right? We all can be successful, and it's going to be hard to get there. It's going to be tough. It's not an easy road. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a profitable trader, whatever it is you want to be, it's going to be tough to get it, but it's going to be worth it. I promise you guys, it's going to be worth it at the end of the day. So this is me just a few years ago, right? And this was rock bottom for me, guys. I was 390 pounds the last time I weighed myself, right? I was 390 pounds. And once I hit 390, I stopped weighing myself, guys. Like, I was ashamed. I was, like I said, rock bottom.
Move.
Right?
Move.
Oh, you got to mute them, Saki. Yeah, there you go. I was rock bottom. I had high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes. I had gout. I had anxiety, like you name it. And actually, I was so big, looking at my doctor's reports, they actually had me labeled as morbidly obese, right? Morbidly obese. So you look at me there, 390, look at me now, right? So I was down, I was out, and I just refused to take care of myself, guys. And it was tough. It was tough. And I think, Sakeem, you may have met me when I was this size, right? And I'll tell you a funny story, Sakeem, when you had the conference down here in Florida, the very first one, it might have been, or the second one, and we had Pollo Tropical for lunch, right? Do you remember that? We had Pollo Tropical, and it was in the condo building. We had Pollo Tropical, and we broke for lunch. And I remember I was sitting next to Sonny. We ate lunch. And guys, I was so bad and out of shape that as soon as I ate, I started getting sleepy. Like, I was tired. Like, I legit fell asleep. And I think there was one point where, Sakeem, you were on stage talking and you were like, yo, Los, are you okay? Like, that's how unhealthy I was, guys. Like, every time I would eat, I would just feel sleepy. And I'm here to tell you guys, food should not make you sleepy. If you're eating to the point where you eat and you get tired and you're eating all wrong, right? You're eating all wrong. Food is supposed to give us energy. It's not supposed to make us tired. But this was me, guys, 390 pounds, maybe even a little heavier, because like I said, I stopped weighing myself. I was ashamed. I was just like, I was cooked. So wake up call. Wake up call. So every few months, I would end up in the hospital for high blood pressure. And it was just another time where I was in the hospital, high blood pressure. And the doctors, they took my EKG and they were like, Carlos, as soon as we get you out of here, you need to go see your heart doctor, because I'm not liking what I see here, right? So my mentality was, as long as I'm on blood pressure pills, as long as I'm on diabetes pills, I'm going to be okay. And that's the mentality for so many of us, right? Like, as long as I'm taking these pills, I'm going to be okay. It's the wrong mentality to have. So I went and saw my the cardiologist, and I took my wife with me, and he's like, Carlos, you had a silent heart attack. I'm like, silent heart attack? He's like, he told me straight up, bro, if you don't change your life, you're going to die. Told me straight up, if you don't change your life, you are going to die. I immediately turned and looked at my wife, and he's like, do you want to leave your wife behind? Do you want to leave both of your kids behind? And he's like, I understand you're an entrepreneur, you have a successful business. And he's like, why are you successful in business but not successful in your health? And I didn't have an answer, right? I didn't have an answer. And so many of us, we want to be complete and successful entrepreneurs, but the real long game is being successful in everything you do in life. And that starts with your health, right? So I had silent heart attack, went and saw my kidney specialist, and he's like, you need to see a nutritionist because obviously you're just eating way too much. You need to do better. So I went and hired the nutritionist, and she sat down with me and she's like, Carlos, so tell me what you eat in a day. And I said, I drop my kids off to school. Then I may go have a Starbucks coffee. Then for lunch, maybe, I have some McDonald's. And then at 9 o'clock at night, I'll have some spaghetti, some pasta. And she's like, bro, are you crazy? She's like, the amount of like coffees, sweet coffees, and the juices that you drink alone, if you stop doing that, you're going to lose weight, right? So my doctor sat me down and she taught me how to eat. And I must have hired her. I was seeing her for like a year. And that was the best, that was really the best form of mentorship that I had, was hiring that nutritionist, because she helped break through my mindset. And so much of everything that we deal with, whether it's weight loss, success in business, success in marriage, it's a mindset, right? It's a mindset. Breaking out of that mindset that is turning us back to failure every single time you try to break through and you try to do something. But it's your mindset that's holding you back. It's not the market that's holding you back, right? It's not Trump. It's not your boss. It's not your mom. It's your mindset, right? Only you can stop you. And so many of us, it's our mindset. And that was what's stopping me. That's what kept me 390 pounds, was my mindset. It was all messed up. But once my nutritionist taught me how to eat and broke me out of that poor mentality, my life began to change, right? So, time and time again, I went on health journeys and I failed. But once I hired my nutritionist, the game changed for me, right? So investing in mentorship changed my life, right? And a lot of us, we like to do things, we don't want to spend money, but the best form of mentorship that you can buy is investing in yourself. Right? And those of you that are a part of Sakim's Discord, you can attest that money you spend every month is some of the best money that you can spend, because you're investing in yourself, right? And a lot of us, for years, I don't want to pay anybody to teach me how to be successful. Guys, that's the quickest way to become successful, is investing in a mentor that can teach you to do whatever it is you need to do. And a lot of you that have had the one-on-ones with Sakim can attest that's some of the best money you've spent. So guys, invest in yourself. That is the best form of marketing investment you can ever make, is investing in yourself, right? So hiring that nutritionist allowed me to build structure. It allowed me to come up with a game plan. Right? So every day I would plan out my meals. I stopped drinking the goofy stuff. I stopped eating the goofy stuff, and my life changed dramatically. So It's my transformation, right? So once I stopped drinking the goofy stuff, eating the goofy stuff, my life began to change in a like it started to happen, and it feels like it was overnight, but really from 390 to 220, it took me 2 years, right, to do it. But the way that I feel now, I can never go back to that guy on the left that's 390 pounds, because I've changed. Something in my mind clicked, right? And once you break out of that mindset, guys, I'm telling you, sky is the limit. You can achieve anything, but you got to change. It has to start in your mind first, right? I'm telling you guys, if you guys can just grasp hold of that, if you can just change your mind, not to take those impulsive trades. Oh, I see gold is running out, let me jump in. No, if you can just focus and change your mind, I promise you, your world is going to change, right? So I was consistent, right? Consistent. And I talk about that all the time. If you guys follow me on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, wherever, I'm always talking about consistency being better than motivation, right? Because motivation is very fickle, right? You can wake up motivated at 10 a.m., but by 11, motivation's gone, right? So you can tell yourself, I'm going to trade the London session and be motivated, and then 9 p.m. comes, or whatever time frame you're in, and you say, I'm going to do it, and then the time comes, the motivation's gone. So it's not about being motivated, it's about being consistent. I'm going to do this thing regardless, right? I'm going to study the charts regardless. I'm going to backtest regardless. Sakeem has a Zoom call, I'm going to join regardless. Doesn't matter how I feel, right? Doesn't matter how I felt. I was in the gym every single day. Last night I was in the backyard playing with my son basketball, and trying to be young, whatever, mess around, hurt my back. But guess what? I'm still be in the gym regardless, because it's about consistency. It's about not missing. It's about committing to being the best version of yourself, right? Don't sell yourself short, guys. Commit. So many times people hit me in the DMs, bro, you motivate me. I fell off, but you motivate me. Guys, don't get motivated. I don't want you to get motivated today. I want you to commit to being consistent today, right? Don't let anything I say today motivate you. I want what I say today to change you, to be consistent, because consistency is what pays, not motivation, right? So here's my proof of work, right? So I went down to 218, and then I just started to pack on muscle, right? And I have just become, like I said, if you follow me on IG, one thing you're going to see is I'm in the gym every single day. And my mentality changed. And I said to myself, I have to share this with the world. I have to share this journey with the world, because, man, so many of us are out of shape. We may be obese. You may not be obese like me, but you're out of shape. You just don't feel good, whether it's you're abusing alcohol, abusing food like I was, whatever it is. Health is wealth. And I know it's cliche, and I know you guys hear that time and time again, but health is wealth. Now, how fitness improved my life, my trading, and my business. So once I got my act together and I got healthy, it increased my focus, right? I made less emotional decisions because I was disciplined, right? So instead of, I'm a little hungry, back in the day, I'm a little hungry, let me grab these cookies, or, let me drink this fruit punch, this Hawaiian punch. I don't do that anymore, right? Once I got in shape and I got healthy, I stopped making those emotional decisions. Now, before I eat, I'm like, okay, how many calories is this? And, do I really need to eat this cookie right now? And don't get me wrong, I still have my cookies. Last night, I had pizza. I had 5 slices of pizza last night, right? So I still eat what I want, but I eat in moderation. Everything in moderation, guys, right? So I stopped making those emotional decisions. my sleep got better, right? And this screen here, that's me at a sleep apnea center, right? Doing a sleep test because I had sleep apnea. You know, every day I would wake up tired, exhausted. But once I lost the weight, my sleep got better. And like I said earlier, higher discipline, consistency in execution, that key word. If you guys walk away with anything today, the word of the day is consistency, right? Say it with me, consistency. Consistency is the word of the day. So once I got my act together and my fitness, guys, it dramatically affected my trading, right? So this is a screenshot of lifetime rewards for 04. It was the middle of 04. Guys, and I did this, and a lot of you have known me for years, right? And a lot of you guys have seen my journey. Guys, I did this in a few months. Once I locked in and I got fit, it affected my trading wholeheartedly because I got discipline on the charts, right? I got discipline. Like I said, I stopped making irrational trades. I stopped trying to chase gold, and I let gold come to me, right? So this was just this. I did this in like 3 months, right? Like, and a lot of you guys, you follow me, you know that Funder Pro booted me because I was too profitable, right? And that's kind of like the trend with a lot of prop firms is you become too profitable, you become a liability, right? But look at that. That it says 12 rewards. That's 12 payouts, 22,000. I don't even know what I did in 2025 because things went south with them, and you know I never got my records. But guys, this is the result of what you can have if you become disciplined, if you take your trading serious, if you take your business serious, you can have this kind of success. Guys, I'm no special than you are. I'm no different. I'm no better than you guys are, right? A lot of us have been in the same group learning from Sakim. I learned from Sakim just like you guys. I'm no different. The only thing that changed me is I decided to take my health serious, be consistent, show up every single day, and become disciplined. And as soon as I do that, the proof is in the pudding, right? So adversity builds strength. Pain turns into perspective, right? I talked to you guys about losing my house, right? Almost losing my business, almost losing my health. But all that pain turns into perspective. And each time I go through a struggle, I get a lesson from it. And I want you guys to, some of you guys may be going through it right now. I don't know what it is. Maybe your health, maybe your job, your boss is tripping, maybe your marriage, whatever it is. Take that pain and turn it into perspective. You're going through that for a reason, right? God doesn't make mistakes, and God will never give you more than you can handle, right? So if you're going through something right now, take that pain and turn it into perspective. Look at the long game, right? Those losses that I took made me resilient. I failed so many prop firms, guys. I must have spent thousands and thousands of dollars on prop challenges, but I made it all back because I refused to quit. I refused to accept failure, right? That immense pressure made me grow, right? The struggles shaped me into the person that I am today, right? So thank God for your struggles. You going through it right now? Thank God for it, right? Speak life into yourself. God, you know, I'm going through it right now, but I know you're going to bring me out of whatever I'm going through, right? Let the struggles shape you into becoming a leader. Then take that struggle, that lesson, and share it with somebody else. Just like I'm sharing my story with you guys, right? And I'm showing you guys my lowest points, right? My wife is like, bro, you got to show that picture online? Yeah, I'm going to show that picture online because this is my journey. And I know that you guys seeing these pictures is going to affect somebody. Like I told Sakeem, my goal today is that one person will listen to me today and be changed. That's all I want is one person to listen to me speak today and be like, today I'm going to make the change. That's my goal. From this call, that's all I want is for one of you guys to say, I need to lock in. I'm going to lock in on my trading. I'm going to stop failing. I'm going to move forward. That's all I want is one person. So 4 pillars. If you guys are have the capacity to take a screenshot of this, screenshot this because this is the key to success right here, this screenshot. So when I look at life like building a house, right? And if you guys know anything about building houses, first thing you start with is a foundation, right? Your foundation has to be solid. So these 4 things right here are the pillars to my house, to my life, to my foundation, right? So the first layer of my foundation is faith. I'm nothing without God, right? He is the reason that I am here talking. He is the reason I'm alive. I am only alive. I've been to the ER so many times. I remember the first time when I found out about my kidney disease, I had a tumor on my kidney, and I get to the ER, and the nurse is like, bro, your blood pressure's through the roof. I don't even know how you're not in a coma. I don't know how you didn't die at your office, at your desk, right? So faith, my faith in God is my everything. Without God, I am not here. Without God, none of this is possible, right? So faith has to be number one. Faith has to be the first layer of the foundation of your life. That house you're building, that life you're building has to be built on faith. Has to, right? Has to be built on faith. God has to come first before everything, before everybody. God has to come first. Faith has to come first. Then that second tier is fitness. Fitness and health. Because, somebody say, well, Los, how can you put fitness before family? Well, check this out. How can you take care of your family if you're not around to do it? How can you take care of your family if you're not healthy enough to do it? How can I take care of my family if I'm stuck in the hospital, fighting high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes? Can't do it. Can't take care of your family if you're not well enough to do it, right? So God, faith, fitness, your health. Guys, you have got to take care of yourself because if you don't, you're out of here, right? People are dying younger and younger and younger. You have to prioritize your fitness. Oh, well, I don't like working out. I don't like going to the gym. Well, you're going to have to do something. Whether you got to start walking. Start by walking. After I had my silent heart attack, doctor told me I couldn't go to the gym. So my wife went outside and we walked for a mile every single day. That's how I started my fitness journey, by walking. So those of you today that, you might be out of shape, overweight, whatever it is, start walking. Start by walking and not consuming what I like to call the goofy stuff, right? Stop drinking the sugary Starbucks coffees, the mocha latte, whatever, frappe, whatever you call it, right? Stop drinking the sodas. Stop drinking the Hawaiian punch. Black people, we love some Hawaiian punch. We love some Kool-Aid, right? Let's keep it real. You got to stop drinking and eating all of that goofy stuff. It's goofy. Stop it. Alcohol, I don't drink alcohol, right? Totally against it. And I would like to see you guys not drink alcohol either. If you're doing drugs, I'd like to see you stop doing the drugs. You don't need it. You know, somebody told me, well, you know, I smoke weed because it helps me calm down. Well, I promise that if you locked in and you spend time in prayer and you seek God's face, you'll be able to calm down. There's no peace like God's peace, right? And a lot of people hit me with that excuse, oh, well, the weed calms me down. No, there's no peace like God. God can calm you down, bro. You got anxiety, God can fix that. You don't need the weed for that. God can do that, right? So faith, fitness, family. Family before finances, right? And for so many years, I had that backwards, right? For me, the first thing was finances, then faith, then family, then fitness, right? But all the money in the world, the Bible talks about, you know, what does it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul, right? The world teaches you it's all about the Benjamins, baby. Guys, none of that stuff matters. I asked one of my mentors, his name is Jeff. I said, what are some of your regrets? And he said, Los, I made a ton of money. He's so wealthy. But he said, you know what? One of my major regrets is, my biggest regret, I didn't spend enough time with my kids. I was too busy building businesses and consumed with success. I didn't spend time with my kids. I regret that. And it's funny because I actually tutored his son Spanish when his son was young, but that was his biggest regret, is that he didn't spend enough time with his family. And when I started my business, I said, I'm not going to make that mistake. You guys see me, I'm with my kids. I take my kids to school every day. I pick them up every day. I do Bible study and pray with my kids every day. I take my wife to work every day. And people are, oh, your wife doesn't drive? Yeah, she drives. But I enjoy spending that time with her, you know, and you can call me cheesy or whatever you want, but, you know, that's quality time that I get to spend with my wife in the morning. And my wife and I, we pray every single day together, right? Family before finances. And then after family is finances, right? Because life is good when you have money. That's just the truth, right? Life is better when you have money. So guys, these are the 4 pillars that made me successful in life. And I promise you that if you take this blueprint and apply it to your life, you will be successful. I guarantee it. If you put God first, let God lead you, take care of your body, take care of your fitness, prioritize your health, right? Take care of your family, spend time with your family, and focus on getting that money, getting that paper, you will live a glorious life. I guarantee it. These are the 4 pillars to success right here. Faith, fitness, family, finances. See the time. Okay. Family is my why. This is my why, right? This is why I'm up every day at 5 a.m. This is why I grind hard every single day, right? This is why I'm in the gym every single day. My family is my why. So I want to ask you guys today, what is your why? You know, why do you want to be successful? Right? And don't tell me you want to be successful because you want to buy a Lambo or you want a gold chain, because none of that stuff matters. And don't get me wrong. I want you to have the Lambo. I want you to have all the material stuff you want, right? I want you to have it. Listen, one of the reasons I got fit is so I can fit in the Lambo, right? So all that stuff is good, but that shouldn't be your focus. That shouldn't be your sole focus. That shouldn't be your why. What is your why? And this right here, my wife Deb, my daughter Nyla, my son Ethan, this is my why. This is why I grind hard and I refuse to give up. No matter how hard life gets and life is kicking my butt, I know that I can't quit because these 3 guys right here, they're counting on me, right? So what is your why? right? And I want you to have your why, and they need to be glued. You need to have that tunnel vision and focus on your why all the time. So when you feel like quitting, no, I can't because my family is dependent on me, right? Family is my why. What is your why today? Who I am today? Stronger, healthier, sharper, and more disciplined, right? And I'm still, I've always considered myself to be a nice guy, and I'm still that same nice guy, but I'm definitely stronger. Obviously, you see the muscles is popping. Let's not act like we don't have eyes, right? Right? Muscles is popping. I'm healthier, right? No more type 2 diabetes, right? No more gout, no more panic attacks, right? It's just amazing how the body will heal itself once you stop consuming the goofy stuff, guys, right? Some of you may have family members with high blood pressure. It can be beat. I beat it, right? I beat it. And all I had to do was commit to not doing the goofy stuff. That's all I had to do was commit to not doing the goofy stuff. And once I did that, it turned me to who I am today. Discipline. Every day in the gym. Every day grinding to get that paper. Every day looking at the charts. Even if I don't take a trade, I'm paying attention to what's going on, right? So fundamentally, I know when it's time to take a trade, I know what I'm taking, right? And I told Sakeem, yeah, I'm taking like 1 or 2 trades a week now, but I'm always tapped in, always watching. I'm always watching you guys in Discord. And you guys may not see me commenting, but I'm always watching, always listening, always looking. Stronger, healthier, sharper, and disciplined. Let's play the long game. Join Discord. If you're on this call and you're not a part of Sakeem's Discord and you're a trader and you want to step your game up, join Discord. I promise it'll change your life, right? Stay consistent. Stay consistent, guys, right? Stop showing up on Monday and not showing up the rest of the week. Show up for yourself every single day. Because if you don't show up for you, why should anybody else show up for you? If you're not going to be consistent in your own life, why would anybody else be consistent for you? Right? So, like I said, guys, take the 4 pillars: faith, fitness, family, finances, and I'll see you guys at the top. I'll see you at the top. And I'm working with people one-on-one. If you guys want to work with me one-on-one on your mindset and your fitness, shoot me a DM. I will hold you accountable. I will give you a structure, how to eat, right? How to work out. And it's proven systems because obviously it worked for me. And I've been working with people, and let me tell you, it's a game changer. So follow me on IG, shoot me a message on Facebook if you want to work with me. You want to get your act together fitness-wise, I'm here for you guys. And that's the long game with Los. So at this point, like I said, I wanted to end this at 12. So we got about 15 minutes. So I want to open the floor for questions. If you have questions, let me hear them. Now, let me read some of the comments. I know we got comments. Okay, here we go. Wow, we got 61 people in chat. So yeah, if I guess Sakeem, you can unmute them, and whoever has a question. Yeah, but follow me on IG, guys, Facebook, and I forgot to put my YouTube. Follow me on YouTube. Okay. Well, I guess it was that good. Nobody has questions. Yeah, so we'll leave the floor open for 2 more minutes, and if nobody has questions, we'll wrap it up. But did you guys enjoy our first session today? If you enjoyed it, just put like a 7. Put a 7 in the chat. If you enjoyed it and you learned something today, drop a 7 in the chat. Okay, I see. Okay, good. I see the 7 dropping. That's what's up. And, like I said, guys, we're going to do this once a month. And, we're going to give you guys everything we have to help you guys be successful, and, Sakeem and I are talking every day. And, I think this once a month, I think it's going to be a game changer. And like I said, I hope that you guys really took what I said today and apply it to your life, guys. Apply it to your life. And I promise those 4 pillars, that foundation, game changer. Okay. Oh, that's a good question. My biggest obstacle was me, honestly. My biggest obstacle was me. And when I hired my nutritionist, and we talked about what I was eating every day, and she just flat out asked me if I was crazy. And that for me was a game changer. I had to get out of my own way, right? And once I got out of my own way, my life changed. And for a lot of us, we're our own worst enemy, to be honest, right? Like, I'm not in that boat by myself. A lot of us, we're our own worst enemy. And you have to decide that you want to change. And that has to click in your head. And until that clicks, you won't change. Until you commit, you won't change. And we're human. We slip, we fall. But you got to get back up and you got to commit. I see this question. What do your mornings look like? Do you pray, read before charts? Absolutely. So I have a devotional that I share on my stories. It comes to my email. So that's the first thing I do. When I wake up, I go to my email and I read my devotionals and I pray. And that devotional sort of sets the tone for my day. And then what I do is I screenshot it and then I share it with you all on my IG, my stories. And then I send the devotional to my family, right? So when I get in the car with my kids, Nyla has a day that she has to read. Ethan has a day. And we discuss the devotional. While I'm driving, we have Bible study together, right? So that's how my mornings start, with devotional. Take my wife to work, take my kids to work, then come home, send out any emails. I'm kind of looking at the charts. I'm listening to Sakeem on the call while I'm driving. And, I kind of decide if I'm going to take a trade or not, answer real estate emails, make some calls. And then by 10:30, 11 o'clock, I'm in the gym. And I'm usually in the gym 90 minutes to 2 hours. So let's say 10:30 to, let's say 11 to 1 or whatever, right? So then 1 o'clock, I'm out of the gym and I'm back home and I'm back at my desk and I'm working. The rest of the day, I'm working, taking phone calls, and I don't stop working till 9, 10 at night. But that's a typical day for me. That's good. Always set the tone. I got to start being more consistent. Yeah, consistency is the key, David. Consistency is the key for everything in life. Whether it's the charts, your business, your family, right? Even marriage, right? Consistency is key. You got to work on your marriage. Sakeem will tell you, right? Anybody that's here, Jesse, anybody that's married, Alex, consistency is the key to everything. You got to work on it 100%. But it starts with you, right? It starts with your journey with God and getting right with God, and then getting right with yourself. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, I'm glad you guys joined today. It looks like, people really, took in what I had to say. And I appreciate you guys. And again, Sakeem, I appreciate you so much for sharing your platform. with me. And, next month, we'll be back again for the long game with Los. And, Sakim and I will be working on topics that I can bring value to you guys. And, like I said, my goal was one person today will take this and apply it to your life and be changed, right? And like I said, if you guys want fitness coaching, mindset coaching, hit me up in the DM. My Instagram is up, and let's work. Love you guys. Sakeem, I love you. I see my sister Tiara out there on the streets driving. Love you, Queen. All you guys. I can't see everybody who's on here, but yeah, I love you guys, and I'm just so glad to be a part of this community. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. 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 You said I had a great time. See you guys in the chats.
Recording stop.